this Ramadan.
Welcome back. It is the Iftar Drive, and your host, my name is Lukman, and this is the Iftar Drive. Now, in these last few days of the month of Ramadan, let's bring some cheer and ease to fellow Muslims. Now, Spiritual Chords is arranging hot meals for the vulnerable Muslim communities for this Eid al-Fitr. As we all know very well, there are a lot more people who will need support this year, especially in KZN, where the floods have left incredible challenges in their wake. Safeeyah Moosa is the CEO and founder of Spiritual Chords, and she joins me now in Johannesburg. Safeeyah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair for your time, Safeeyah. And I just want to find out a little bit more about yourself. You've got such a fantastic background. It seems like you have a lot of passion for other people. Tell us about what you do as an individual and how that motivated you to really just be such a humanitarian.
I think full credit goes to my parents for the humanitarian part. From a
Okay.
very young age, it was very much a part and parcel of our daily life. Like you brush your teeth, you have your meals, you have your shower, you go to school, you go to madrasa, and you do something kind for someone. It was just
Right.
normal, and it was a lovely way to be brought up. And I realized how valuable it is. And I think I don't know if I did it as well with my kids, because my parents were super at making it so normal, and kindness
Mhm.
was such a huge part, because they strongly anchored to Sunnah, and that was the way of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So it wasn't something you specially did on certain occasions; it was a part of
Mhm.
your daily life. So that's where it
Mashallah.
started. So credit to
Yeah.
them, I guess.
No, mashallah, that's fantastic to know. And inshallah, you'll be doing the same for your children. I wanted to ask you, the Afia energy healing practitioner, that's something that you also do something about. And we're going to get into the whole Ramadan program and Eid program. But what is an Afia energy healing practitioner? What is that? Yeah.
Okay, so Afia Energy Healing is basically there's a gentleman from UK called Zohair Girash who I invited here
Mhm.
to South Africa to present and teach how to do what he labeled Afia Energy Healing. Energy
Right.
healing was the healing method of the Anbiya.
Okay.
When we see hadiths where Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Oh, if you've got a pain in your knee, or on your tummy, put your hand on the place that is hurting and read
Right.
sort of a." So energy healing is literally transferring energy, which is we source from the sun or from the ground. So it's
Right.
better to be done bare feet on sort of organic material underneath, like grass or
Okay.
something, organic wood, whatever. And you literally, the way your nose breathes in
Mhm.
oxygen and breathes out through your mouth, we literally breathe in energy through our feet and out our hands then. When you make the niyat, then you're just concentrating energy, because the body's molecules, and it just requires energy to heal. So
Mm.
you sort of power surging the cells, and you're helping and aiding in the energy healing process. Nabi Isa could do it so successfully that Allah gave him the gift of being able to cure the lepers, and instantly.
Yes,
I mean, I think he even brought a person who had passed on back to life. But
that's
we're
right.
not able to do that. We're just doing it on the basis that we know this is the healing method of the Anbiya, and it's widely practiced around the world by Muslims and non-Muslims. And there's a wonderful
Mm.
Canadian doctor who wrote a book called Quantum Healing. If anybody wants to read it up, it tells you how to do it.
Fantastic, Safia. I know. I mean, I'm asking you these questions because I know you have such a great amount of love for humanity, and hence the kind of work that you do. Now, let's go into spiritual chords. When did you begin? What was the thinking behind setting up this organization, and particularly the humanitarian side of the organization?
Okay, so I would say that without a label, spiritual chords began in my ancestry. I mean, it's been part of my
Mm,
family. It's a very natural
right.
part of our daily lives. And then as I went through school, being, caring at that stage when I was in school, which was a very long time ago, um, I could tell you about the dinosaurs that roamed the earth. But um, what happened was there was no Islamic organization offering this, and the school I went to sent out a pamphlet saying World Vision allows you to sponsor a child. So I was,
Mm,
I think, in grade 11 at that time. So grade 11 in matric, I would save my lunch money, not go to the tuck shop, and I sponsored a child through World Vision, which is a Christian organization. Eventually realizing that I love the idea that Quran says, "Hold you fast, united to the rope of Allah, and that we're all a universal humankind." Allah says, "I have created you from a single, pair of male and female." In Surah Ar-Rum, I think it is. And so I said, you know what? It really feels nice that I'm not labeling and looking for a Muslim, or I'm just being a
Mm.
Muslim in a Sunnah way. And then I wanted to get more involved in doing this just by myself. So throughout school, this happened, and then into university, until there were a lot more Islamic organizations and Muslim-run organizations, where more Muslim-run organizations, rather, if I should put it that way, where we could get involved in participating and helping. But most of it I just did quietly, behind the scenes. Like, just one sunnah a day was my motto. Just do one
Mm.
sunnah a
Mm.
day for someone else, not just in my life, you know. And that's where
Yeah.
it began. Spiritual Courts got its name, ironically, because by the grace of Allah, through a very strange set of events, which I won't go into now, because it's not a very long story, but it's going to take too much time. We
No
ended up
problem.
getting Junaid Jamshed to come to South Africa. Nobody else had been able to get him to agree to an invitation, and Allah is so great. It was, I think, I actually
Okay,
made
I
a
remember that.
yes.
You're talking about the Nasheed singer, right?
Yes, absolutely. So in
Mm.
2007, without realizing how famous he was and misunderstanding who he was, I didn't know who he was at that time. I invited him, and I was speaking strangely to him because I was trying to teach him how to learn the four lines of Burda Kasida and whatever. And I think he thought I was a little insane. Anyways, this intrigued him, and he then paid attention to the project that we were trying to set up a Jamaat Khana in a very impoverished area in Clearwood at a government school, which I had got permission to be run as an Islamic school. I got government permission. We rezoned
Mm.
whatever status they gave it, whatever. So I was excited about putting this Jamaat Khana, and he kind of felt the excitement about it. And he decided, yes, within 10 days, he's going to be in South Africa to do this program for us to raise funds for the Jamaat Khana. And
Wow.
he was so he was enamored by the methods that we had used for doing charity and what have you. And he told me, I will come back to South Africa every year just for any projects that you do. So what's your organization's name? And I said, I don't have one. I just do this like a sunnah for the day kind of thing. And he said, well, I can't be an ambassador of Anonymous, and give me a few options. And so I did. And a year later, he named Spiritual Courts based on the options I gave him, because of the reason
Awesome.
why I gave him Spiritual Courts. There was a reason why that name was so important to me. And I gave him
Mm.
two or three options, and he said this one gelled with him.
Right, right. And the rest is history, as we say.
Yes.
So so the type of work you've been doing since then, since that. I mean, you talked about the school. I want to hone in on the Ramadan work that you're doing, particularly because this is the Ramadan season. How long have you been doing it? Who funds you? How can people get involved? But just tell us also what you do in the month of Ramadan, year in and year out.
Okay, so year in and year out, I can't tell you for a very long time, because I would
Mm.
just do things quietly. It was just me and my kids. We would go to, like,
Oh,
when they were
okay.
like 2, 3, 5, and they were just little. They were little babies, like 5 years old. We would go to the hospital cancer ward, the children's cancer ward on Eid morning, and give out like balloons, biscuits, lollipops, or a cupcake or something, where we were allowed to give whatever we were allowed to give, just to share in bringing some happiness to somebody who might be distressed at that time.
Right.
Um, and for us, the fitr wasn't only the breaking of the Ramadan fast. It was also, we wanted to break the cycle of, well, it's an exclusive celebration for us. But on the other hand, making people realize, actually we do care about you, because that was the way of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So what happened was, it developed into my kids doing it with me till they grew up, until the Pakistan floods happened, and my son said, I do not want to buy eat clothes anymore, and I would like to limit how much we eat. I just want fruit and a soup or something, because I want the rest of
Wow.
the to pay for a child's eat clothes in the flood areas. And then he planted the seed in my mind that, actually, what if I got a few other people to do that? Then they would make key rings and keychains and magnets for the fridge, and they would sell things and send a kid to school. And it was my kids who actually inspired me with ideas
Subhanallah.
of doing it in a different way. And
Hmm.
so it just grew from there. And, like, I mean, it just, Allah does what Allah does. Honestly, we are just witness to His magnificence, because He
Mm,
makes this happen.
mm.
He is a razik. He's providing for whoever, and He might soften our hearts to look at it. And that's all that happened.
Mm.
Allah did. We just kind of got softened in the middle.
Absolutely. I mean, may Allah reward you for the work you do, and your children for inspiring you as well. But the iftar program, I mean, how's that going so far?
Okay, so this is our first iftar where we're offering iftar because we never
Okay.
had. I always worked from my kitchen and my dining room. That's kind of
Okay.
all these years. And then in October last year, some wonderful people who have been working as volunteers with me since about 2008 were very kind enough to say, you know what, you've got so much sustainable projects. You're not just actually feeding people, you're actually doing sustain because our main portfolio is sustainable development and upskilling people. One of
Right.
our actually that we funded got the UN World Habitat Award as well
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
training bigger women and things like that. So that was our focus, and someone just kindly uh, offered to pay the rent with a group of people for 1 year for a center. So since October is the first time I actually have a place to work from that is not my home.
Wow.
And then the local community there said, well, and then we set up a Dawa center, which was inspired by Maulana Yunus Daya, because he said, I want you to teach reverts. Let them come to you and tell them whatever, you know. And so that was, so we set up the Dawa side of the welfare center, and the local community who couldn't afford to get to cars and get to their prayers, mostly from the barber shops or, you know, whatever, the more less advantaged communities,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of said, can we just have a room to pray? So we set out the musalla for them. We thought it was 5 to 7 people. Within 3 days, it became 35 people. So we laid down a carpet and set up a proper Jamaat Khana, which is now the first musalla in Norwood, and a prayer facility there. And then it just rippled into, well, Ramadan was approaching, and they said, would you be also letting us have Taraweeh here? So we got students,
Mm.
young students, and we said, you can build your confidence with us. We are small, you don't have to be afraid, and you can do the imamat even if you don't know the full hifz of the full Quran, but you do your dawah.
MashaAllah.
And so we completed the whole Quran. I mean, we are in the process. It's a proper tarawih for the 29 days, and we've got young kids who are still in school who do our imamat, so we gave them a chance to build
MashaAllah.
confidence. And then we just said, well, why don't we just, everyone was coming for 5 times salah, let's just do an iftar. And so the water, the kajur, very kindly, one person just said, I'll give you water and kajur. And that put the idea in my head. And I can't believe what happened. May Allah bless the donor. He knows who he is. It was just, he said, I'll give you water and kajur for Ramadan for your center. We thought we'd share it out with people when they came to pray, and it became a proper sit down iftar with savories and people offering meals. So every day somebody sponsors a meal.
Wow.
And some of these people got weepy within this week. There was a gentleman who was from a foreign country, and he said, there's a group of us, and we don't have families here. We're trying to earn here to you know, keep our families going wherever they come from. And he was so emotional about this. He said, nobody's prepared a meal for me in 5 years. In Ramadan, we just pull together money and get like 4 or 5 samosas and break our fast and go back to work at the back of a shop.
Wow.
And he said,
Wow.
nobody told us sit down and served and made us feel like we were family. And it was so emotional for him.
Mm.
He said, in 5 years, I have a Ramadan like this. And then he stopped and he said, actually, I didn't have Ramadan this year. I had Eid for 30 days.
Subhanallah. I
I
think
can
that's a
only,
wonderful,
it's
wonderful,
just,
wonderful, wonderful.
yeah, sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I just want to thank the community because we're such a beautiful community in South Africa that this actually happens. This is
Yeah,
kindness
I
among
mean,
people.
yeah, I'm also from outside South Africa, and I can tell you this: one of the things that hits you when you first make this your home is the hospitality of the Muslim community. It's just a second to none, legendary. Everybody knows about it, and Alhamdulillah, that's fantastic. So now for Eid, what plans do you have for Eid, Eid al-Fitr?
Well, you know, like Allah says, we plan and Allah plans. So we were going to
Mm-hmm.
feed 1,000 people. It's now because of the contributions, we're able to give a hot meal to at least maybe nearly 2,500 people.
Subhanallah.
Um, and we're also supplying, like, I don't know, I don't, what's the word for it, but like fussy about making sure there's a fruit there and not only just sweets and chocolates and things. So we have enough fruit.
Absolutely.
So we're going
Mm.
to give one orange to everyone. Everyone's going to get a drink, a juice, or something to drink, and a packet of chips, and just to make it feel festive. But what's really key is we're making about as we're getting donations, we make really proper, nice, beautiful gift bags. We prepare really nice gift packs. And we give
Okay.
it out. So when we're giving it out, we're giving like Muslim and non-Muslim kids, and we just say Eid Mubarak. Allah wanted you to have this, and therefore we're giving it to you, because
And
Allah is Allah.
what's inside the gift packs?
Okay, each one will have my first preferences are the face towel, soap, toothbrush,
Mm.
toothpaste, cream, chips, juice, a packet of chips, a chocolate, and a lollipop.
Wow, that's really a goodie bag.
Yeah.
And this is over and above the actual meal, right?
No, this is separate from the meal. This is just
Oh,
gifts. We're
mashallah.
giving about 3,000 of this in all communities in KwaZulu-Natal, in Phoenix, in a very,
Mm,
very, they were impoverished before looting. They were impoverished before the floods. So,
right.
and they're a little bit neglected. So we're doing 500 kids there, where we not only giving the hot meals, but we're giving all these gifts. We also are going to make gifts for because this is apparently going to be one of the most severe winters. It's going to be probably the highest recorded severity in South Africa. So we're already preparing, like we've got warm jackets that we managed to purchase that are, some are brand new, some are secondhand, but proper thick woolen, heavy
Yes.
coats.
Yes.
And we're making gift parcels with them with a little bit of a soup pack and stuff like that to give to the people in the park, because they're going to have the
Right.
biggest challenge there. So the jackets are for them, and for people like in orphanages or in informal settlements, we're getting blankets. So we're hoping to raise funds for that. But part of our Eid gifting is the jackets to about 100 street people in the parks with
Hmm.
soup and what have you. So we're preparing them in advance because the cold seems to be arriving very soon.
Right.
So
Right.
that kind of thing. That was all over and above the feeding. So
Okay, I think at this point we just want to ask you if anybody would like to get involved. It's the last 10 days of Ramadan. Some people have been a little bit neglectful of their duties, and they're thinking, this is definitely a cause I would like to participate in. How can they get involved?
okay. So for those of you who have been delayed in your duties, because I'm sure you weren't really neglected, you can get in touch with us on 011 646 7585 or 084 51 22227. So we can then help you in terms of whether you want to volunteer to help us make the packs. We're making thousands of these gifts, like I said, so we're already busy. All these
Mm,
gift bags are lying everywhere. People can come and help and pack in Norwood, otherwise contribute financially. And we do a lot of ongoing projects. We train the street people. We've been teaching them how to clean up the environment. We actually cleaned up Norwood. The pavements are looking clean. People are coming to say that they're finding it safer there since we moved there. And I'm talking about the Jewish and the Christian and non-Muslim, other non-Muslim and Muslim communities are saying, it
right.
feels nice. So anybody wants to help us clean up, they can just contact us, and then whatever, just call us. We'll
Absolutely.
be
Sophia,
inspired.
I'd like to Now,
Mhm.
I'd like to commend you for what you're doing, and I'd like to commend the greater Norwood community, because I must be honest with you, 10, 15 years ago, Norwood felt just like any other community. But nowadays, it feels you actually know there are Muslims living there. You feel the Islamic presence, and I'd like to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. I think there's two masajid that have come up over the years. It's looking wonderful, and I'm rooting for you people to make Norwood a proper Muslim community.
Inshallah. You know what? We're going to make it a proper example to all communities, because I'd
Mm,
like to think Norwood becomes the golden era of Jerusalem, where everybody, the Christians, the Jews, the Muslims, lived in harmony, and everyone's rights were protected
absolutely,
when the Muslims were in leadership there. And that's the approach
absolutely.
I want to have. No invasion. And as a result of that, by the way, I have to cut in a little bit here again. We're getting a lot of people asking about Islam, and we've set up a whole Islamic information room, and people can come in.
Right.
So we actually have a lot of reverts now because of this. They're like, this is amazing. We want to, and then we're sort of getting them into Quran classes and understanding Allah, understanding their role. And then they can decide whenever they want to, whether it's 1 day, 1 year, 10 years. If they want to take Shahadat, that's between them and Allah. We just want to provide the
Absolutely.
information, and we want to be the best example.
Absolutely. Safeeyah Moosa, I really enjoyed talking to you. May Allah reward you. And thank you so much for your time. And inshallah, I'm going to give out those numbers for the viewers so that they can contact you if they want to take part. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah to you and the rest of the team there. You've been a wonderful presenter. Take care. Eid Mubarak to you in
Ameen.
advance. Assalamu
Ameen.
alaikum.
Same to you. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Safeeyah Moosa, CEO and founder of Spiritual Chords. Fantastic discussion there. You want to take part? Please do. This is the number 011 646 7585. That's 011 646 7585. Bringing our time to 5 minutes to 5 Central African time. Here's a quick announcement. Riba is a terrible sin. Easily move your business or personal insurance to Amana IFS. contact them on 061 786 393 and leave riba for good. That's 061 0861 786 393.